we start with just a moment or two of practice, looking at an idea. Actually, the point is to look beyond looking at ideas, but we start with an idea. I can observe, oh, I'm thinking these thoughts, I'm feeling these feelings. My body is sensing these things, it's urging these things, desiring. But who am I that can see all that going on? Because that's the gateway to our inner awareness, our higher self, our natural self. And it really is that simple. We can be caught in the most crazy thoughts or feelings and just say, oh, I see him feeling this, I see him, and it immediately begins to shift this. So we start with just taking a minute or so here to observe that part of our being, that place in us that can see what I call the animal self is doing. Okay. So, and just for the sake of getting all us on the same page with the words we use here, I'll go over the basics quickly. All of us have two aspects. Every living thing has two aspects. Yet we are one whole thing, so we're not looking to divide, we're looking to increase awareness and integrate. Far different than some teachings that have us trying to get rid of our ego or such. We're just going to make it all happy. So we have our natural self, which I like to think it's the life that animates us. In me, it animates this thing called Tim. In Charlie, it animates Charlie. In an ant, it animates an ant. In a tree, and so on. That's pure life. It is just whatever it is. But it has a nature that all the mystics have come to talk about, and they seem to agree for the last 5,000 years all around the world, that this natural self, that I call that life, and sometimes I just call it the good because of its nature. But its nature is, it's joyful, it's peaceful, it's curious, and it sees in beauty, and it wishes well for everything and everyone else. It's like, here we are, having this grand adventure. How's it going for you? Oh, would you like a little help with that? It's that side of us. But the point is, it is present. It's already there. If we are breathing, it is there. And so many teachings have fostered this path of searching, and mindfulness just throws that out. We're becoming aware of our own awareness. It's already there. You know, Jesus put it, the kingdom of heaven is within. The kingdom is at hand. It's right here now. So he called it the kingdom. And each of the teachers have called it something, and I just call it the good or my natural self. we also have another aspect, which I call the animal self. That is associated with our biological body. The body self has been programmed. It has a program to survive. If it succeeds at that, to reproduce. If it succeeds at that, then to satiate whatever its personal desires are. And if it succeeds at that, it may get crazy and do really strange things, but who knows. It very seldom ever feels satiated. It's always looking for enemies, on the lookout for possible threats. It's very often preoccupied with the reproduction idea. And it very often is searching to satiate a personal desire. I want steak tonight, screw that vegetable soup. But it's what we've been given. It's the vessel that our life flowed into. So it's not to be condemned or rejected in any way, but we come to see very much more clearly, oh, that's my animal self. It comes from DNA, it comes from social training, from experiences, and it's not who I am. It's just like the character in a video game. I'm riding around in it. It's pretty cool. I got this amazing vehicle, and boy, it's a bit crazy sometimes. But the thing with awakening and mindfulness is we can choose deliberately to step out of the energies of our animal self, which is our thinking brain, our intellect, our emotions, and the body urges and impulses. We can step out of them. And if we just step back to our natural self, ask it to help us step back, we can observe what the animal self is doing. And then, most important, we can ask our awareness to transform it if it's doing something that's giving us trouble. So, at the animal level, our human personality level, there's no such thing as the way I am. There is only, this is the way I have been. It's up for change. And once we can get that as a real experience, it's very, very valuable to learn that whatever comes up in me, it's okay that it's there. It's from past experience. I'm guiltless. And that's how God sees us. Okay, here you are, this amazing and crazy thing. And just like with Paul on the road to Emmaus, Spirit says, hey, you might want to change up that program a little bit. Here, I got a better offer for you. So that's what we're constantly being offered from our own inner awareness. Because our inner awareness is the part of us, the life that comes from the source. It's connected. It's more than connected. It's part of God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus. It's the one life. Jesus speaks about that in John at some length. May they know they are as one. May they know they are one, even as I know I am one with you, Father. Explore that, perhaps. But all of that is just to set a framework. Mindfulness itself is so simple. And our human brain loves complicated. It loves deep thinking paradigms and cosmic revelations and dramatic little practices. And all those get used. I'm not saying throw them out, but that's not mindfulness. Mindfulness is, oh, I can turn to my natural self and be at peace and let both my animal self and the situation I'm in be transformed to be more peaceful. That's it. One goal, one ideal. Okay, where's my peace? So we start with this very simple practice of the first hard part is remembering I could choose to be at peace. Oh yeah, I could be at peace instead of being all pissed off or terrified here. That's a lovely spider. I want to pet it now. No, just kidding. The point is, the first step has to be remembering. Because early in our awakening, we can come to a group, read a book, and we hear it, we know it's true, and then it's 3 weeks before I think about it again. So I need to remember I could be at peace. Second step is I have to begin choosing. Well, maybe I'd be better off if I was at peace. I'd rather be at peace. No, I don't want to be at peace. I like being there, but I'd be better. There's a process of actually having to choose that we need to go through. In time, that gets very short and very easy. But initially, and with certain reserved places that we will discover in us, there's a part of me that says, I like this energy. I don't want to be at peace. I want to be about whatever my angst or agenda is here. So I remember, I begin making my decision, I'd rather be at peace. After we've worked, and we ask for help, if we're brave enough at that point. Help me. And our own natural self will help calm and change our thinking. And then we arrive at a point where we see we can actually make a deep, sincere choice. No, I want to be at peace. Help me get there. You will learn to see that. It's a very distinct step that occurs with any situation. Once we've said that, then I just turn it over to my higher awareness. In Christianity, we call that the Holy Spirit or Jesus or God. It doesn't matter. It does not use words, labels, or definitions at all. It's that idea that I do want to be at peace and open myself up to something beyond my brain and emotions and say, a little help, whatever you are. And then we can get amazed. And I'm going to talk a little bit about miracles today, I realized. That is a miracle point that each of us can experience quite easily. As we begin a conscious practice of this awakening, and to have something come up in us that's either worried or angry or even lustful or greedy, whatever, let it, look at it. That's in itself takes a while to be willing to look at some of this stuff. Whoa, that's pretty ugly. Yep, that's in there. Okay, let me look at it with you, God. All right, how do I bring this to peace, to love? And once we've done that and we truly say, I want it to come to peace, help me. And then maybe in a moment, maybe in 3 days, maybe in 3 months, there comes a moment where you suddenly just feel it like dissolve or transform. You suddenly have a very different idea of how you want to use that energy, say, or what the goal of that energy is. But when that comes, it's the most amazing thing. I mean, you just like, wow, it's a miracle. The Course in Miracles defines a miracle as a change in mind. And there's other extensions on that teaching. But so I can begin experiencing the miraculous power of the Holy Spirit just right here in my own interior. Then I can begin applying this likewise to my relating with outer situations. There's also a vast difference between relating and a relationship, but that's for another day. Relating is how I'm interacting right now. So there's the traditional teachings of be present, be here now, all that, which merely means stepping into my natural self and relating without any prejudgments, prejudice, or pre-fears, or pre-angers. I'm present with me now, with this now. Oh, that's pretty ugly. All right, let me get the peace, stay at peace with it. I wish you well. I want to see this transform to good for me and you and everyone involved. That's the nature of spirit. Like St. Francis put it, si a tutti. Yes, good for all. So when I pray in that manner, when I want to look from my natural self in love and compassion, beauty and joy, that gets thrown in there, it's sweet. I go into a state called extension. This is easily noticed if you see a beautiful flower or a happy puppy or kitten or somebody you like. You can literally feel something in your chest and in your mind too, depending. I was more mental when I started this. You feel it go out towards it, like it goes out to meet it and dance with it and embrace. That's the state of extension. The animal self, living in its survival mode, is in a state of contraction. When it sees the beautiful flower, its thought is, I'm going to pick it and make it mine. Sees a beautiful person, I'm going to make them mine. It's a contraction. Also, if something is threatening, it pulls away from it and becomes defensive. So those two states of the two aspects are our guidance, our day-to-day, minute-to-minute guidance. If I am in the state of extension, if I'm in my natural self, I can trust my own awareness to give me the right thought for what to do. Some days it may be to help, some day it may be to run. I don't question. If I feel I'm in that state of extension, I'm good. I know I'm good because it feels like that when I'm in it. However, if I'm going along and I suddenly realize I'm in a state of contraction, my body's tense, I'm nervous, whatever, a little help please here, I begin that practice. Oh, I could be at peace and still deal with this. Still just as, actually more effectively from awareness than from my contracted state. Because when I contract, I shut down myself. I separate myself from the universe. And I'm limited to my brain, past experience, my physical abilities, and I'm at the mercy of all my old emotional programs that are going to tell me how to react out of habit. And it really sucks compared to the open state of extension. But the thing is, awakening is learning to, like the awareness part of me is just always watching now, 24/7. Oh, going into contraction here, take a moment, I could be at peace, I could get back to extension, give me a little help here, yes, I do want to get there, whatever, 1,000 times a day for the rest of our life. Now the good news is, as we become more used to living as our awake self, we spend much more time there and much less periods, though there will still be days, at least so far for me at 70, there's still stuff to come up and get changed. But that very simple model, for me, I can look at Jesus' teachings and it correlates. Turn the other cheek. Drop your defense. Drop your need for retaliation, for vengeance, and open up in love. It's the compassion of Buddha. Connect with your brother or sister. Open up in love to them. It's the teaching of all the masters I've ever read. But this simplification has let me use it much more quickly and effectively and teach it. I have seen it be helpful to a lot of people. It doesn't replace everything else. When I get stuck on some old energy or program, I need to find practices so I can make that decision to let it go and go to peace. But if I can remember my goal is to let this go and get back to peace first, it can speed up the efficacy of those practices. So this is not about rejecting all the other helpful things that are available for our mind and emotions. It's about using this one, it's the straight and narrow. Am I in extension or am I in contraction? Oh, wow, but no, it's that simple. Am I at peace, wishing well for you, me, everybody, or am I in some kind of contracted, fearful, ugly state of mind? That's the one question that we ever need to ask ourselves, and proceed from there with our higher mind, our awareness, transforming whatever feels it needs to contract. Everything is one. Like in mindfulness, there's no beliefs, but there are models. And every teacher I've ever read speaks of experiencing the oneness. And I can't define it. I do believe I experience it. But because everything is one, it means that every thought or reactive feeling I have in my body transmits to the world around me and to whatever I'm thinking about. So if I have a hateful thought about Trump, he doesn't receive that as somebody hates me. He receives it as, yeah, it's good to hate. I feel more coming. The same way, if I have a happy, lovely thought of the world or somebody, it doesn't receive, oh, somebody thinks I'm lovely. It receives a feeling of, ah, I'm lovely. It feels good. I want more of that. So every thought we have transmits. When we become contracted, we do become defensive. What does it transmit? It transmits, you're going to attack me. Guess how they receive that? Oh, they want me to attack them. Oh, I'll be glad to jump right up and do my job. So, mind training with mindfulness, at moments it can seem overwhelming because as you grow in awareness, you'll see the reality of these things and you'll be like, whoa, like how can I ever contain all this? Or, oh man, I was such an asshole. That's part of the deal of awakening. But always, if I will look with this singular goal of I want to get back to that state of extension, compassionate love, help me get there, it will carry me through the transformation of whatever's in my cringy body to bring it to be a peaceful expression of whatever that energy is. It's not suppressing anything. It's not taking anything away. It's transforming us to return to be in the image that we were originally created to be, which is the nature of our natural self we already are. So I love it. I think it's a good deal. And then we just have fun sharing the adventure together. We remind each other, oh, you having fun with that? Would you rather be happy? And then you might get a finger back or something when you ask that with a friend. But it's just always it's a process of remembering and with each other of reminding perhaps once in a while. And it's just the most amazing adventure. After 40 years of exploring it, still to me the most amazing and exciting thing I have ever found. And I'll just wrap up with one more note on miracles. Because in this business, there's not much thinking about, but little pointers to say, take a look at that. When we open up in the state of extension, I have found that source can now flow through us. It can do miracles. I have played with this a long time, and in the early time, it was about, well, how do I learn to do miracles? There was an I in there. But these days I find very peacefully, I just open up into that loving state and I feel the presence. It's there in an instant. And then I just watch. You know, Jesus said some interesting things. He says, I always do what I see the Father doing. But to me that correlates when I'm in my open state of extension, you get an impulse to help. And you do what comes in that moment, but you let the source do the helping. I'm just the hands and maybe the voice as directed. But once I've learned it wants to flow through me, it's so sweet. Like I can totally relax with whatever the situation is. And it has been my experience, it will do stuff. Mm-hmm. And we will see miracles. Not by believing in miracles at the brain level. That's actually an impediment. Because now I've got some idea and I want my idea to happen. Well, the whole universe has some other friggin' idea it wants to happen, and here I am believing in my idea, blocking the flow of God. So what I'm trying to convey, I guess, is this learning to live in this state of awareness that's open in extension, love. It's fearless. It's just curious. Oh, this is interesting. Let's see how this goes. Rather than going into fear. That is salvation. That is the awakened or the enlightened state. It's all those goals that have been offered by various teachings, is being able to experience that state, and then it grows. We can stay there a little longer. We can get into it a little deeper. So we can touch enlightenment or salvation right now, at any instant. But it may take us a little while, 70, 80 years, to shift the entirety of my sense of self. And that's what happens. As we awaken, my sense of identity shifts from, well, I'm Tim, I'm like this, I'm this personality, I'm defending myself, telling my story of me. But no, my sense of who I am shifts to, I'm just this space of the source that's here. And look, it's got this crazy thing that follows me around everywhere I go, and it runs into walls and gets confused, but it's not who I am anymore. So I do sometimes still get embarrassed by its clumsiness or dumbness, but not for long, because I don't live in it in that sense anymore. I live in my space. And I just really, really, really want to invite the whole rest of the world to live in that space with me. So that's my blurb. Thoughts? Right now we're live streaming. I take a round of thoughts, then we'll turn the camera off if anybody wants to get personal. So thoughts?
You know, I came in at the end there, just making phone calls trying to figure out my next move here, but it feels like I just came in right at the right time, even though the call came at 10 when I wanted to be here, and I heard what I needed to hear, and this, relating it to my personal journey of shedding the layers of the old self in order for the true self to have a foundation to stand on within me. And you just put it eloquently with about, it's the curiosity. It's that cultivating that curiosity so that when something does happen that is disruptive to our own set of expectations, that we can play into it, that we can feel the unconditional love teaching us in that moment, and to let go of my fears and insecurities,
Yep.
And and it's just I just love how you worded it, and it really sunk in for me, and yeah, appreciate it.
Cool. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love how you said earlier with the, like when we're thinking like, oh, like as far as like Trump or like I just,
Yeah.
these thoughts towards them. 'Cause
Yeah.
The news comes on and there's that.
Yeah.
And where it's like that's not feeding love, and that's feeding the beast.
Yeah.
And putting that energy out there. And so it's like I have a friend, like when you're talking about, she calls it the sacred pause.
Yeah.
We're like, sacred pause.
Yeah.
Just stop. Go, no, I'm not gonna send.
Yeah.
But and once you're aware of it, like, okay, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And but you do have to recognize it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I've started doing this thing. I growl and shake and send out the bad energy, so
Mhm.
it's not staying there, and just
Yeah.
and then it passes, and
Yeah.
I can go back to a better
Okay.
state of love. And I don't know, but it's just to like, oh, don't think these thoughts anymore, and just it's
Yeah.
not helping. And just growl and let it out.
And again, developing a habit of instantly asking for help from okay, I'm gonna growl, oh help. That's what allows transformation.
Mm.
Whereas in the early phase, we work with controlling. We control our emotions and our thinking to get them nicer so we're not put in jail or something. But that's a hard road, and it works for a while, it's helpful for a while, but what we want is transformation. So whatever your pattern is, like, all right, that's been helpful to release that energy. But also, if it's not already just pure presence in love, a little help. I want this transformed. So if you add that in,
Yes.
it
Breathing.
growth deepens or continues.
Yes.
Yeah.
The breathing or the
Yeah.
breathing.
So,
I might add in there that after the growl and the awareness that I'm in a contracted state, I think that it's an opportunity to bring in one of the tools that most of us have used is a loving kindness meditation.
mhm.
So it's relatively easy with the growl to think of the imagined victims of the injustice or the pain, and start there, but be able to bring that to, and I also have love for the quote unquote perpetrators
Mhm.
of this, and see if you can get there.
The loving kindness is so good. Yes.
Yeah, it's essential because what the planet needs is to wake up. It's the perpetrators that need to wake up also to be love and not be jerks.
Yeah.
So, and that's, the basic Buddhist prayer. May all beings remember or awaken the love in their heart. So, yes, I've shared that some time ago here I started praying, Jesus, show me how to love like you loved. Because I don't think I know that. So then during prayer time, like Gaza would come to mind, and I'm just trying to be, and I was in the mind of an Israeli sniper shooting the people. I was Netanyahu giving orders to bomb and it was so real. And I was like, whoa. And Spirit will say in times like that, well, where do you think love was needed?
Mm-hmm.
And we think that those enemies are impervious.
Mm-hmm.
It's the whole idea of our concept of enemy. It makes them impervious to love in our mind,
Mm-hmm.
which is also why one of the steps is, I have no enemies. Jesus puts it, love your enemy, but it comes to have no enemies. You're just you doing what you do. As soon as I say you're an enemy, I say you have power over me,
Mm-hmm.
because you threaten me, because I'm not in love and know my safety. Anyway, I get going.
Yeah.
It's so powerful. It's not about becoming, a wimpy thing. You become invulnerable. Yeah.
Forgiveness comes to mind.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. And that's been my journey to healing the perpetrators in my life. And I'll just share where I'm at. My abusers, I would want nothing more than for them to have the peace that I have.
Cool.
And even more so, I would love to work with them.
Cool.
And that's
good progress.
That's something that I
Yeah.
really feel, I want to say proud, but it's
No.
okay to be proud.
It is
Yeah.
in that sense, yes.
Yeah.
We should honor our growth in awareness and healing, and in that sense, be proud of it.
Right.
Just-
It's a slippery slope, though, the pride. So.
I know,
Yeah.
but still, we have to acknowledge our gains to give them value so they will continue to grow. And you
Thank
sounds
you.
like
Thank
you
you.
found the right side of that slippery slope.
Yeah,
So,
thank you. I appreciate the words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's loving yourself.
Yeah, right. And I see myself in the abusers, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
especially dealing with, bipolar and schizophrenic. I don't think I'm those things, but when I was going through the more intense trauma, I was hearing voices and I was having intrusive thoughts that weren't mine, but they were violent even, and they were so it allowed me to feel
Yeah.
what it's like to go through that transformation where you can choose to
Mhm.
become the perpetrator, to
Mhm.
become the victim,
Yeah,
and then become the perpetrator, right?
Yeah.
Or you
Cool.
can choose that other path, which
Yeah.
is forgiveness. Which
Yeah.
in my story,
That's-
is forgiveness.
very good summary of it.
Yeah.
That's what awareness lets us see. All of that you had to experience. Some real ugly, some ugly voices, ugly energies. Awakening is not a little la-la dance on a cloud. It's to the guts, to the DNA. you know.
That's for sure.
Yeah, mindfulness, forgiveness, drop my grievance.
Mm.
It's nothing to do with the other person at all.
Mhm.
I'm not forgiving them. I'm dropping my grievance that I put on them.
Mm.
You know?
That attachment.
Now, try doing that with some topics. You'll see where we're going to have a little more fun work trying to get back to love with that.
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had a lady come who had severe migraines, and her son drug her to group. And I used to do little energy healing, meditation healings with individuals. And I sat with her and I said, all right, Mavis. I said, what I'm getting here is there's something you really need to forgive, and these migraines will cease. She says, I will die and burn in hell before I forgive that bitch. Oh, there it is.
There's the migraine.
Yes. I was like, there's
Manifested in words.
So, again, it's always back to that little practice. I see what it is in here. Now, then I become willing to say, I would rather have peace. Help me let this go. Help me transform this. It's all the same. It's just learning how to apply it to all the different aspects of our humanity.
Mm. Well said.
And there's so many people like now with social media and all that's going on in this current climate, the like attacks you're seeing like the antagonizing, like people are sharing loving kindness and they're doing that, and then there's the people that are in that I will die in hell before I love your loving kindness, you know, and they're like pushing that back at them, and you're like, oh, so it's that, but the only thing that will conquer it is love, because the more they're trying to get you
to join their energy.
Yes.
Yeah. And in time that, I say, feeling of repulsion to it diminishes, and you just see it. And sometimes I just send a little smart-ass love thing, like, well, I love you too, or something.
God bless you.
You know, yeah.
Bless your heart. The Virginia put into it.
So there is a real and ongoing shift as we work this stuff to living as our natural self more and more deeply, more stably. December of 22, right before I came here, something happened after 40 years of practice. Suddenly I could just think of that space and just be there. And that has persisted most of the time. There's still a few things that come up for work, but what I want to share is it does get easier. It does become natural. That's why I use that word, natural self. So as you plow through the exploring and realizing and transformation times, keep in mind there's never an end as in done with everything, arrival. But there is an arrival to where you know, oh, here comes some stuff, I know it will be transformed. All right, here we go. Walk through it. So I like to give encouragement because it's not based on empty faith of the brain or emotional heart. It's based on, I have an experience, oh, this got changed. Oh, look, I tried it with that and it came to peace. Who'd have thought they'd ever be peaceful? And that's what grows, is our experience, our actual living in this Christ self. And that's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to end the transmission part.